It was like 8 hackers. They did not use their real names. They would not tell me their real names. They all went by handles. So like Mudge and Dildog. And I can't even make this shit up. And they would not give me the location of their warehouse where they worked until the morning of. And I remember like telling my husband, like, if I don't come home tonight, this is where I am. Like, I don't know what I'm walking into. I had Dildog. My last day of work was a Tuesday. And the people on my team, were like, oh, that doesn't really work with payroll. Or that's never. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, pay me I've been here 14.5 years. Give me the extra 3 days.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Through with a Splash of Tea, a podcast where conversation is key. Today, we have an extra special guest, Christina Luconi. Today's guest, Christina, has spent over 3 decades shaping the heart and soul of Boston's tech companies, not from the spotlight, but from the engine room, culture, leadership, and people. From her early days at Sapient to her transformative work at the cybersecurity giant Rapid7, Christina has helped companies scale, survive, and stay human. So first things first, I want to say thank you, Christina, for being here with us today. Of course. I'm so excited. So you guys, quick little thing. Not all of my guests I'll actually speak to before they come on. Like majority of them I don't. Majority of them it's literally just through email and then that's it. Like I do my research and I have them on. But I had the pleasure of speaking to Christina before today and literally listening to her story. I was literally like in awe. Like I was like real time. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear. Like real time. I'm really excited for you guys to hear it. Okay, so let's start at the beginning, Christina.
Okay.
I want to start at your background. I want to start at basically your roots and essentially how that is woven into the person you are today. So let me know a little bit about your background and how you grew up.
Easiest way to sum it up is I grew up in a pretty traditional family. My parents are still together. They still hold hands. They're very cute. Dad is insanely intelligent guy, 3 degrees from MIT that I think he did in like 6 years. Like it was very clear in my early days I was not following that path, but very, very smart guy. And my mom, like traditional homemaker mom. And she like the thing I really think is cool about my parents, which makes them dinosaurs in this day and age, but like really relevant when I was growing up was my dad was a serial entrepreneur and like kind of took care of the family financially and had this great vision for what he could build and really credits my mom with his success because she was taking care of everything else. So it was sort of a really interesting dynamic. All Italian on both sides, probably gave me a little fiery, like, we communicate with our hands and with arguments. So I learned how to speak up pretty early on in my life. And like all of that, I think is what shaped my future because I grew up, we didn't have a lot growing up when I was little. My dad became pretty successful as I got older, and it really motivated me. I grew up with a dad who never had a boss. He was always the boss right out of grad school. And I think I thought, oh my gosh, why would you work for somebody else if you could work for yourself? So I don't know that I knew what that meant when I was like 10, but I thought it was pretty cool. And when I went to school, now kids are diagnosed with, learning disabilities when they're like 4, like they go to kindergarten, they figure it out. I didn't realize I have dyscalculia, which is the math form of dyslexia. Like literally I think I know what my phone number is. I have no idea what anybody else's phone number is. Thank God for speed dial. Like I had a really rough time and felt like a moron most of my young life. And with a dad who had 3 degrees from MIT and was like math guy, like worst memories. I had an amazing childhood. Worst memories though were like sitting at the kitchen table with my little brother being like, X equals 10. I'm like, I hate you. And I went to college and my professor, my psych professor actually called it out, figured it out. Something's wrong, put me through a bunch of tests. And it was the best gift I had been given. I'm like, oh, I'm not stupid. I just learned differently. And that was like overnight game changing in terms of how I engaged with the world. I went from feeling really stupid to, oh my gosh, there's a different way in one day. And that I think sort of sped forward my life.
Oh my gosh. But that was until college.
That wasn't until college.
So it was you trying to figure it out on your own up until then.
Yeah, I just thought, God, I got screwed. You know, my dad got all the brains. My brother, who's 2 years younger, is probably like the most naturally gifted human. Like, he went to the Junior Olympics for gymnastics. Everyone in my family is like the Land of Oz. We're all so damn short. So, like, you know, all of our gymnastics was big in our family because we couldn't play. We were going to get killed on a field somewhere. But, like, you know, my brother was super athletic and gorgeous and could play any musical instrument. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have zero talent. And I'm sure we'll get into what happened. But, like, college, like, finding out I'm not dumb, I just learned differently was, like, probably one of the most pivotal transition points in my life.
Oh my gosh. Thank goodness for that professor.
Oh, she was great. Crazy. This is crazy. She was amazing. She was, she worked at the Department of Health and Human Services. She was like professor. She was actually murdered. I looked her up years later to find out, like, oh my gosh, I got to reach out to her and let her know how life-changing that was. She was actually killed by a serial killer in DC at a gas station, like, which I found out 20 years later, which is absolutely heart-wrenching. She was so special, but not that anyone should die that way, but just it was very dramatic ending to something that was so interesting to me. So,
oh my goodness.
No.
Wow. So interesting.
Interesting.
All right, let's go into college and then where we went after that.
Okay. College. I grew up in Concord, Massachusetts. Beautiful, beautiful town. Horrible place to be a teenager. Like, nothing to do there. Like, literally lived on the road where the Revolutionary War was fought, right? So, you know, there was like a lot of drinking at White's Pond. There was like no movie theater, no fast food restaurants, like all the places where teenagers congregate.
Yeah.
We did not have access to. So we got in some trouble. Never bad. My parents like knew I was like a little bit rebellious. But they gave me one direction that was actually incredibly helpful because they were pretty conservative, still are. Realized I'm not somebody that you probably can control a lot. So they gave me one very definitive thing, which was never end up in the police blotter, which was like the police section of our town paper. And they didn't even have to explain what that meant. I thought, oh my gosh, if you end up in the police blotter, like you pushed it. Yeah. So it's like I did dumb stuff, but nothing that would have ever gotten me arrested. I was stupid. Yeah. So yeah, I had boundaries. I was rebellious with boundaries. Never missed curfew. But I did what I did before curfew. We won't talk about, just in case my parents ever listen. So yeah, college was great, but because I grew up in such a like beautiful, lovely town, zero diversity, like I thought, get me out of here. There's got to be more to the world, and I want my world to be big, not small. And I've got to imagine the people that live here had a bigger life before they settled here, but I got to leave. So I went to school in DC. I went to George Washington, which was like the polar opposite of the town I grew up in. My dorm was across the street from the World Bank. I was within a block of the White House. We had, you know, massive crime going on there. This was, you know, in the late 80s. So it was awesome. Like, it was just awesome. I just saw so many different people, so many international people. The mix of kids in my class was like so different, and it just got me on a path of like, oh my gosh, I want to see as much of the world as I can. I think people are fascinating. I'm absolutely fascinated by human beings.
You and me both. It's like a glimpse when something like that happens because I originally came from a small town and then I moved to a city when I was about like 10 or 11. And when you go, it's like such a juxtaposition because you're in like this bubble, this pod, and then you get into like a small, like a microcosm of the real world. And you're like, whoa, this is what it really looks like. Right. This is crazy. This is cool. This is amazing. This is so many different ideas, so many different minds, so many different cultures and backgrounds. It's like Pandora's box opens and you're like, I need to see more of this. Like, I need to digest more. Yep. Why did you choose DC for college? Honestly,
because it was a good school. it was in the city and I could go home for holidays. Like it wasn't so far away that like it was reasonable. So it seemed different. But yeah, that was good. Not big into the politics, especially now. But back then, like I'd worked at a law firm just to make money when I was in school, and it was literally right past the White House. And I remember walking down Pennsylvania Avenue, and it's like the issues aren't that different than what they were back then, right? There were Arab kids on one side of the street and Israeli kids or Jewish kids on the other side. And a lot of them were like friends from classes. And I would literally walk down the middle of Pennsylvania Avenue because otherwise they'd pull you onto their thing. And then you're like pissing someone off, right? And I had friends on both sides. So I'm Switzerland. Yeah.
Smart place to be. Okay. So where are we? We're in college. Let's talk about what you decided to major in and what your college experience was.
It was good. I studied psychology. I thought I would go into some clinical work. So much so that, like Concord, as I mentioned, I did not get into this kind of trouble, but there were kids when I graduated from high school that were already in rehab. And I thought, okay, I think I have a fascination with people. I want to know why these kids have grown up in what are seemingly really good families and a really good town, and we had access to like privilege across the board, amazing education, et cetera. And yet somehow by age 18, they're like, their world has gone to hell. And drugs back then were not the crazy stuff now that's like being manufactured, but like there were kids with coke problems and definitely alcohol problems and stuff. And I thought, well, maybe that's where I'll go. So college for me, my first 2 years of college, what you learn from me in this next little bit of time is I tend to go all in. If I'm interested in something, I will go all in on it. My way of going all in on it was if that's what I think I want to do, then I can't drink or do anything because I have to understand what it's like to give up that. Now, that was really naive at the time because I did not have a drinking problem. So like it wasn't a lot for me to give up, but it is weird for somebody in college to like literally not drink at all. I like just didn't. And then to make it more interesting for myself, I walked like 2 miles back and forth about 3 times a week to go to AA meetings in Georgetown. I couldn't participate because I was not a member of the community, but they let me sit there and listen. And I did that for 2 years. I don't even know how many meetings I went to. I always smelled like cigarettes and donuts, but I just sat and I just learned a ton. And then 2 years into it, I have such respect for people that embrace that program and find sobriety. But I think 2 years into it, I thought, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this. I think that I will probably never, as empathetic as I can be, I've never walked in these people's shoes, really. I've never had an addiction problem. In fact, I have like an anti-addiction problem. If I see myself gravitating towards something, I'll actually immediately stop doing it. Like I won't eat ravioli. If I eat too much ravioli, like I will not eat it for 3 months because I'm like, I got a problem. So I sort of got out of my sophomore year in school, went home, had an existential life crisis and said like, what am I going to do with my life? I thought I was going to be a counselor. I don't think I can do that. What am I going to do? And I had this really great conversation with my dad who said, hey, there's this thing called human resources. That was very newfangled at the time because it had just come out of the world of personnel. But he's like kind of the intersection of psychology and business. What I think he was really saying was like, kid, you need a job out of school. But I thought, well, okay, like he knows business. Maybe there's something there. I got a job in Kendall Square, which is now like a big growing, entrepreneurial ecosystem. Back then it was MIT and the Marriott. There wasn't a lot going on there.
Wait, I'm going to pause you right there.
Yeah.
Before we get too deep into the weeds. We need to go back to you attending meetings and you going all, because when you said you go all in, I was like, oh, she was.
No, I went all in.
But to attend meetings for 2 years and to really try and walk in the shoes and then to realize that, hey, I will never be able to do this, and allow that to be the thing that extracts you from the path that you've been on for over 2 years, right? Yep. You just, how difficult was that? What conversation was that with your parents?
It wasn't difficult because I think when I figured things out, I just embraced them pretty quickly. I was more concerned about what the heck am I going to do now? I was only 20. It's not like life was over, but I thought, am I studying the right thing? What am I going to do with myself? So I just literally had a conversation with my dad, and then that prompted me to look for a summer internship, which I can go into. And that was the next big life-changing thing that happened to me. So college for me was more about figuring myself out. I don't really remember, I was never a great student. I learned much better with hands-on, just going to figure stuff out rather than being lectured to. So, and I had a great time. I made great friends, and being in DC was really fun. And I got to explore some pretty cool stuff, but I was just ready to get on with life. I was excited to start life.
So hop into it. All right. So right after that is when came the internship?
During school, I think, I can't even remember which year, but I guess it was before my junior year or my senior year. And I got a job at a little software company, and the software company went public during my internship that summer. And as only an idiot 20-year-old, with no experience could muster up, I thought, oh my gosh, if you get a bunch of smart people working together, and they have a great idea, and they can partner really well together, they can build something really special. And that seems really cool. And oh, by the way, you could make a lot of money doing that. That's what I want to do, right? I'm just going to go join a bunch of startups, because it's that easy. But that's actually, I went all in on that too. So I graduated from college, and I cold called my way around startups. And I did not find a startup, but I found a hyper growth consulting firm, and I joined it, and I was given another massive gift, which was that company is the company that other organizations aspire to be today. And what I mean, well, maybe not today with the current administration, I will get into that, but we had people of color on the leadership team. We had a woman running the office. We had a transgender person. This is 1990. So I walked into my first real work experience this is totally normal. Look at all this that's how you build a business, because you got all these different diversity of mindset and life experiences, and isn't that great? So I thought that was totally normal. That was awesome. But the other piece was, because they made me so comfortable. I mean, I was 22 with zero experience. And what I learned very quickly was, if you are somebody that has a really good attitude and some aptitude and say, I'll help, your job description goes from this to this overnight, because there's so much help needed. We were growing so quickly. And I felt very comfortable asking a lot of questions. So I didn't feel like the lowest person on the totem pole. I just felt I was young, and I was going to suck up as much knowledge as I could. But I started asking a lot of questions. And one of my questions that has followed me through all these years was, why the heck do you call it human resources, right? My printer is a resource. A human being isn't. If we're trying to scale this thing really quickly, how could we possibly refer to people that way? What they should have said, or what most normal people would say, is Christina, shut up, go file, or do whatever I'm supposed to be doing and get back to work. And what they said was, why don't you go think about that? Why don't you go think about that differently? Thank you. 35 years later, that's what I've built my career doing. So I kind of keyed in really quickly on culture. Was not a thing then. It wasn't really a topic. So for me, it was just, how do you get people rowing the boat in the same direction? How do you get them all inspired around a mission to build something extraordinary together? And after 4 years, I had put myself through grad school, because you had to have a graduate degree to consult at that company, and I wanted to see it from the client perspective. So I went to school at night, did that for about 2 years. And then after 4 years, I thought, oh, I know so much now. I'm ready to go run the show on my own. It's like only the arrogance of youth. I'm like mortified I'm even admitting this. But that's what I did. And I found this very quickly growing startup in Boston called Sapient, which is now this like crazy large, huge thing. At the time, it was a startup. And the reason with my really sophisticated pitch, which was, hey, I noticed you don't have a people person on your website. If you're going to go public, you probably need that. That's sophisticated, but it worked. And I think it worked because everybody on the leadership team was in our 20s, which is like pretty common today, but it sure wasn't then. Like we used to dress up to look 25, not, 23. So like it was a really amazing time, but we grew that company. I think I joined when we were around 150 people. We were 3,500 4 years later. It was insane growth. And I just went in with like, I think I know how to do this from a cultural perspective. Like we build all the other pieces, but this is where we start. And effectively, I'm a one-trick pony. I've been doing that for a lot of years now. So that's it.
How do you successfully grow a company?
Well, there's all the basic stuff, right? I think, people assume you have to have a great idea. You do. You have to have some funding. You have to have a lot of luck. I mean, sometimes the stars have to align. But I believe that if you look at, I think there's that stat that's like 9 out of 10 startups fail. 50% of those fail because of human issues, right? It's not about you didn't have a great idea. It's either you have crappy leadership and you don't know how to like build the right team. You've hired the wrong people. You're not all aligned on what it is that you're trying to create together. So for me, all of that sits, if you think about like building a company, like you might build a house, as you grow your family, you might add an addition. You might change the wall colors. You might rip out the carpets and put in new flooring. You can do a lot of stuff as that house is continuing to evolve. But what doesn't evolve is the foundation, right? You have to put the house that you're building on solid foundation. That solid foundation for me is culture, and sort of understanding who you are and who you aspire to be, and then weaving that into every element of the employee life cycle. That's how you build a company that'll scale. This sounds really touchy-feely, but like for me, that's scale with soul. You can scale the company, but you can like make it an amazing company. But you have to just be really disciplined about it. It's not easy, but it's worth doing, I think.
I agree. What happened after Sapient? Or how long were you there first before?
I was there for 4 years. So huge growth while I was there. Not to get overly personal, but I was married at the time. I really wanted to have kids, and I was traveling around so much. I thought I should really probably be in the same state as my husband if I want to try to have children. Ironically, I didn't. God, I had some medical intervention, and we did not need to be in the same building. But look at that. Funny how that works. But I left, and it was great. But I think I learned a lot too. I mean, Sapient was like all consuming. I went all in. And just, it was my life. It was my social life. It was my work life. It was everything, because there were all these people my age trying to build something really cool. And it was amazing, but I left and I felt like I was like being deprogrammed from a cult. I like didn't know who I was without it, which was great because I had to kind of rediscover. And what I learned was, I can go all in without losing myself in the process. So I'll never let whatever I do next become my defining thing. It'll be a piece of me, but not the whole thing.
And I think that's a lesson that can only be learned having
been through it.
Yeah. Having done it, giving something your 100%, and then being outside of that and being able to take a look at it like, I shouldn't have done that. Right. But I'm happy I did, because I learned
a ton.
Yeah.
I learned a ton.
Okay. All right. So after Sapient, where did we go?
We stayed home for a little while. I decided I wasn't pregnant yet. I decided I would take a little bit of a break. I started consulting a bit, but I also started a hand-painted kids furniture business. I was like so burned out that I thought, oh, I'm going to exercise a different part of my brain. And I can paint a hell of a mermaid. If you ever need a rocking chair with a mermaid on it, I'm your girl. But I did that, and it was like fun. But I probably made like 10 cents an hour because I was like so detailed about it. And it would take me like 20 hours, and I'm sell it for $200. You're like, oh God, that was like not going to pay my bills. But so consulting paid more, and I decided I'd kind of go it on my own. And then I ended up getting called by a venture capital company, and they said, hey, we have this idea. We are thinking about giving $10 million to this group of hackers. Now, this is in 2000. So like nobody knew really what cybersecurity and hacking was back then. Now it's all over the place. Trying to explain to my mom what the company did was like pretty rough back then. And now she's like, Target had a breach. Like it's like the world has changed significantly. But they called and they said, would you be willing to make an assessment of whether or not we should invest in this company? And I went, it was like 8 hackers. They did not use their real names. They would not tell me their real names. They all went by handles. So like Mudge and Dildog. And I can't even make this shit up. And they would not give me the location of their warehouse where they worked until the morning of. And I remember like telling my husband, like, if I don't come home tonight, this is where I am. Like, I don't know what I'm walking into. I had Dildog. Dildog has gone on to be very successful. But I walked in and it was like 10 o'clock in the morning and they were drinking beer and watching porn. And I thought, who's investing in these guys? Like, what the hell? Literally by the end of the day, I called the VC company that had asked me to go in. And I'm like, not only do I think you should invest, I want in. And I went. I was like so inspired by what they were trying to do. They were trying to save the world through like using their powers for good, not evil. And really eclectic group of gentlemen. But they went on to be like, so I was like the best man in Mudge's wedding. Like it was a really interesting group of people, and we built something really cool and did that for a couple of years. And I got pregnant literally the month we launched the company, which startups and babies are like not a great mix, but made it work. And ultimately the company got bought, I think 4 years later by Symantec, and I laid myself off and I was like, done. I'm going to go be with my kids for a little bit and start consulting again, and was at home for a bit. Wow. So there's that segment.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2 daughters, 24 and 22.
How is it raising girls?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I very candidly, they know this, when I got pregnant, both times I'm like, I want a boy. Boys are going to be easier. Nope. So I got 2 girls and they are magical. I love my kids so much. I think they're really close. They're really different. I'm glad they're different because it makes for a really interesting parenting challenge. And I love them in my life. They're the best part of my life.
I love that. I love talking to people that have such like a intense career journey, career path, and that are also parents. Because it's like you guys take on 2 full-time jobs and you just run with it.
I got really lucky. When we were talking about my parents and like how I grew up, I think I had amazing role models. The challenge was I tried to combine like the best of my mom being an amazing mom and my dad being this amazing business person. And I tried to become the intersection of both of those. It worked, but that was pretty tough. In the middle of it, like I got divorced, I don't know, 12 years ago. So my kids were probably 10 and 8 at the time. And I had just started at Rapid7 and I had this big new job and I knew we were like on an IPO push and it was going to be really tough. And I thought, okay, like I had a really big conversation with myself and thought, okay, here's the deal, kid. You're like, you've got, you can't do everything anymore. My ex-husband moved to a different state, started another family. No shade on him, but like he wasn't present. So like I knew I was going to be in it mostly on my own. And I thought I can only do a couple things well. So I indexed on being the best mom I could possibly be, which meant for me, I'm going to show up at everything that's important to my kids. Like I will go to that damn Recorder concert. I don't want to, but I'm gonna. I will show up at their games. I will show up at their school plays. Like I will be present for them. And I don't want them to ever feel like they're paying the price for the choices that have gone on. And the other piece is I'm going to double down on work because obviously it pays the bills. But I love what I do. So I'll get something out of that. And also my social life is probably going to suck for the next decade. Because if I'm focusing on the kids and work, I'm not going to have a lot of extra time. And I loved so many of the people that I worked with that there was that element of social. So for me, that being really, really intentional about that choice paid off huge. The one thing that I think made it work, though, was I also in that moment made myself or had the conversation with myself about like, do not be resentful about this choice. You're making this choice. You're being thoughtful about it. Someday things will change. Your kids will go off to school or leave and you'll get a life back and whatever, but don't resent the decision that you made because you're doing it for a purpose. And that really helped. That really helped. And I'm not gonna lie. It was a tough decade to try to do all of that, but it was worth doing. Like I feel really fortunate. My kids have turned out to be pretty great human beings and I had a great career. So like it's all paid off.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're in the thick of most of the times when you're in the thick of it, you're just like, this is so tough. This sucks. This is really hard. But keeping an eye out for like the lighthouse, like I just got to keep going. And then now look, you have amazing kids.
I got amazing kids. I got a great life. I have a great life.
Yeah. You can tell. You like exude, I have a great life.
Wrong. There's like plenty of stuff that's like not great, but like no. I think we talked earlier about I got cancer a year and a half ago, and it was. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was like pretty bleak at the start of it. I didn't think I was gonna make it, but I'm doing great now. And I remember saying to myself, like, I would like to be around. I really would. Like, I'd like to see my kids find their people. And like, I would love to see grandchildren and see them sort of, making their way in the world. But if I drop dead today, I'm going to be at peace with that. Like I've had an extraordinary life. And most of it just comes from having said yes to so many things. And that's a life worth living for me. So I'm just going to keep doing that until I drop.
Do you want to talk about?
I'll talk about where.
Be careful what you say.
I don't care. I don't know secrets at this point.
All right. I do want to talk about Rapid 7. We have to go down that. And then I also want to talk about cancer.
Okay.
So let's start with Rapid first.
Okay.
Getting the job at Rapid 7. Let's talk about that, entering that space. That has also been the longest company you've worked with, correct?
Oh my God, by like 3 times. Yeah, I just left this week after 14 and a half years.
Oh my God.
So for a startup person, like I identify as a startup junkie. I've done 6 of them. I love building something for nothing. Like I'm from nothing. I'm not a gambler in Vegas, but I love to gamble on people and businesses. And it's something I guess I'm pretty good at. So I went thinking, and I remember having the conversation early on, like, I will do this. I had been consulting with them for a little bit. And they're like, come on and do this. And I thought, I will do it for until we have an event. Like if we IPO or if we get bought or whatever, then I'm out and I'll go do it again because this is what I know how to do. I know how to build from scratch and get us somewhere. I don't want to be part of a big company. And true to form, like I worked for a couple of years. We filed to go public. I marched into my CEO's office and said, okay, I did what I said I was going to do. It's time to go. And he said exactly what you say to me, which is, Christina, nice job getting us here. Get us to be a couple thousand people, have it still be an amazing place to be. And then you can claim victory and leave. I thought, oh God, do you look like, yep, okay, I guess I'm staying. So, I mean, it's been a running joke. I've tried to quit multiple times over the past 10 years, but I'm so grateful that I stayed. It was an incredible journey on so many levels. And I'm extraordinarily grateful for all of it. But it was time to go. Like, I knew when I got sick, it was amazing to have that, because it allowed me not to just be cancer girl. I was like so focused on what we were doing in the company, and what I could do was a great outlet. But I also was like, I cannot die here. I know it's going to come, like, my cancer doesn't have a cure. I know it's going to come back. And I'm like, I need some other experiences in my life besides this. So that was the thing that kind of put it over the edge.
How was it last week? I know it was super bittersweet, probably super, super emotional.
It actually wasn't, which was crazy. I thought it was going to be a train wreck. And
you're like, bye, guys.
I literally did it exactly the way I wanted to. I totally Irish goodbye'd my job, which was, I went in Tuesday morning. I left. This is like the craziness of my brain. My last day of work was a Tuesday. And the people on my team, were like, oh, that doesn't really work with payroll. Or that's no. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, what are you going to do? Pay me. I've been here 14.5 years. Give me the extra 3 days. But the 29th was really important for me, because that was a year of remission. So it was very symbolic for me.
Yeah.
And I stayed till 11 o'clock in the morning. I walked out the back door. I hugged two of my friends who I will see this, tomorrow. But I hugged two of my friends there and literally went out the back exit so I wouldn't have to see anybody. And I walked out, took an Uber to Fenway Park. I was speaking at an event that afternoon, and I was great. And then I went out to dinner with one of my best friends, and we celebrated. But I thought I was going to be all emotional about it. I totally wasn't. I think I was just so ready to go that, no tears.
I love that so much. Like, so intentional. Hey, I'm going to say bye to who I want to say bye to, and we'll most likely have conversations and communications later, because I really have connections with you guys. And then I'm going to exit and I'm going to do what I have to do. Yeah.
So it was interesting. So my CEO, Corey, who's like just literally an extraordinary human being. I adore him. But and candidly, he was probably the hardest thing to leave. Like, he's one of my people. I mean, he's just a special human. But we had dinner on Thursday night, and I'm like, God, I can't get around.
Get rid of you.
I love you. But like, maybe let's wait 2 weeks before we get together and give ourselves some space.
Okay, so what now? What are we going to do with our time now?
We are launching a new company next week. So I'm very excited. Give myself 3 days. So I'm going to go back to consulting, but I never shut down my company. A lot of times, I think as companies grow, like, a lot of my colleagues would join boards and things like that. And I didn't really want to do that. I've done it with a lot of nonprofit stuff, but like, I don't want to just be part of a company and do meetings 4 times a year. Like, I'm an all-in kind of person. So I decided instead to just keep working with startups. That was one of the deals I had made with Corey. Like, I got a little side hustle going on. I'm going to get involved this way and help serve the Boston community with startups. And I always had that kind of going on in the background. But I thought, if I leave, I am getting older. I don't want to retire. I can't see myself ever retiring, but I definitely need a little bit more of a lifestyle. I mean, I literally have been going to the office at 7 a.m. for the past 30 something years, and to not set my alarm at 5:30 is going to be a gift. So that I'm excited about. But I thought I'll go back to consulting full time, but I'm going to do it a little bit differently. So rather than work with 1 or 2 companies, I'm going to do the work that I love doing, helping companies really scale through their people. But I want to try to do it on as big a scale as I can, rather than just work with 1 or 2 companies. How I'm going to do that, I'm not entirely sure yet, but that's the mission. So I'm pretty psyched.
That sounds so good. You look excited about it.
I'm really excited about it.
And you have a little bit of knowledge under your belt, a little bit of history in the game.
I think I know what I'm doing.
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm pretty psyched.
I'm excited for you. Okay, so is the company up and running yet, or are we still in the beginning stages?
No, it's like ready to go. The website, I'm waiting, like literally I'll check the website to see if it's done. Like, we're trying to launch tomorrow. It's probably gonna be Tuesday, just because we're waiting for a little bit more stuff. But yeah, the content's done. I'm working with somebody that worked with me for 5 years at Rapid 7, and she left. She left a couple of months ago and said, hey, if you're going to do something on your own, like, let me know. And I thought, like, Courtney, I love you, but you're amazing. But like, I'm still working. Like, I can't pay you. And I said, but if you want to start working on some of this content or whatever, like, I can throw you some money if you want to help. And she was amazing. Like, I knew she was amazing, but I thought, oh my God, I can't do this without her. So I put in my own money to get it started and up and running. And yeah, she's doing it with me. So I'm really excited.
Oh, that's going to be so good. That's going to be so good. And especially after you just closed a huge chapter. Like, Rapid 7 was 14 and a half years of your life. And then now it's like, okay, we're done with that. And you knew you were done. Like,
yeah, but clearly I'm definitely missing a chip. Like, I thought I would be mourning Rapid 7. Like, I'm not. Like, it was an amazing, amazing part of my life. But I think one of the things, that stupid expression, with age comes wisdom. Like, I am really wise right now. But I've lived through so much stuff, and I feel very fortunate that I don't like dwell on stuff. I just kind of, like, with every bad thing, life is not a straight line, right? We're all going to hit bumps in the road. And I think it's how you respond to the bumps that makes you who you are. And some of the best things that have happened in my life have come from those bumps. So I am taking everything amazing about Rapid 7 and just putting it behind me. It was an incredible thing. I learned a ton. I met amazing people. I'm proud of what we built. Next. Now it's like, okay, that was great. Now can I go be successful on my own? Like, a new challenge. I love challenges.
Yeah. And a new journey. You're on that one for as long as you needed to be.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about cancer for a little bit.
Okay.
Getting the diagnosis. Do you want to talk about that and like how that conversation went? Or
yeah, it was interesting. I had been in Italy with my parents and my children, which, as a sidebar, dear Lord, that
like love. That really triggered it actually.
Trying to like manage the needs of 80 somethings and 20 somethings like made me want to put a bullet in my head. But if I look at the glass half full, it was really wonderful to be able to do that with my family. But oh my God, never
should have left them.
I should have walked away. That was a lot. But I was flying home and I had gotten sick. It turns out I had pneumonia. But I was on the plane flying home and was coughing a ton. And since we live in the age of COVID, I thought, oh my gosh, like I could be very respectful. So I literally like sat in fetal position, coughing into my arm for 7 hours. And I got off the plane and I limped off. And my kids are like, Mom, like, what is wrong with you? And I think I literally said, I think I pulled a muscle in my butt from sitting weird for 7 hours. That made sense to me. And that was on a Saturday night. And by Monday, I was in massive pain. And I called my doctor, which I never called. And I said something like I pulled a muscle, something. She's usually like sent me a lidocaine patch. Okay. It wasn't working. And by Thursday morning, I literally got wheeled into her office in a wheelchair. My daughter found a wheelchair in the garage of the hospital, wheeled me in. And my doctor's my age and she's a friend. And she looked at me and she's like, girl, you look rough. And I was like, I know. Like, what is wrong with me? I pulled muscle, but like, this is not good. She's like, I'm going to take blood just to be safe. And sent me home. And I got a call probably 2 hours later saying, I want you to like stay calm, but I need you to get to the emergency room immediately. And I'm like, for a muscle pull, like, come on now. And she's like, you're in renal failure. And I'm like, isn't that your kidneys? Like, what are you talking about? I just went to the bathroom. My kidneys. She's like, I need you. Can I go tomorrow? She's like, nope. Like, and she was really, I give her a lot of credit because she was like, try not to freak me out. But she's like, you're about to die. Like, it was literally that bad. Like, my kidneys had shut down. And I found out like after the fact that if I had not gone to the doctor that day, I probably would have died in bed that night. Very dramatic. But so we went to the hospital. My kids drove me, and God, they were home for the summer. My oldest had literally just graduated from college. My youngest was home for the summer, so they were staying with me. They drove me to the hospital, and to Mass General. We went into the emergency room, and they're like, "Are you Christina Luconi?" Yes. They're like, "Girls, go home. You come with us." And I thought, oh, something's not right. Like, when have I ever been in an emergency room where I haven't sat here for 10 hours? So they literally wheeled me back. 2 hours later, they said, "You have cancer. It's called multiple myeloma. It's a blood cancer. Never heard of it. I had no idea what that meant." And 2 hours after that, I was hooked up to chemo, and I didn't leave the hospital for like 3 weeks. And it was a gift. Everything about it was a gift, because I think I didn't have to sit around waiting for tests. I knew immediately. I didn't have a lot of decisions to make about treatment. They were already like, "This is the path you're going to go on." And I just remember the question that I asked was like, "Am I going to die?" And they said, "No, we have a plan to get you back. You're going to be okay." As soon as I heard that, I'm like, "All right, game on. What do we need to do?" And multiple myeloma is weird. It's a blood cancer. It affects your kidneys and your bones. So that muscle pull, that lidocaine patch wasn't working because I had a broken pelvis. And I was walking around on it. So that's why I couldn't walk very well. But my kidneys had completely shut down. I was on dialysis for a couple months. Now they're great. And my bones, like, really, it looked like, you looked at a scan of my bones, it looked like Swiss cheese. I mean, they had completely gotten eaten away. And it was a long haul, but it was right now I'm okay. So it will come back. But for right now, I'm in remission. I feel great. And I'm taking all the wins that come with it.
Should I ask you about first thoughts when you got told that you had cancer? Do you remember what went through your head?
Yeah. What am I going to say to my kids? That was like the only thing. Am I going to die? And how do I tell my kids? So I remember I think one of the first calls I made was to a friend of mine who it was a single parent who had cancer. And I remember calling him and saying, "This just happened. How do I tell my kids?" And he was great. I mean, he was super helpful. But yeah, after that, I was fine. I was fine.
Did it make you nervous for work? For being no?
No, this is crazy. Like, I remember being in the hospital, and Corey, who's like going to be a theme through this whole thing, he was my CEO, awesome friend. But the company had its only ever layoff that summer. So this happened in June, and we knew we were going to have a layoff in August. Corey shows up in my office. I mean, in my hospital room. And, I look like I got hit by a bus, right? I mean, like, I'm hooked up to everything. I've got a port. I'm in, a really sexy Johnny. And he walks in with a box of donuts for the nurses and wipes off my chemo board and starts like, "Okay, so we have to have a layoff, and this is what we're going to do." And we were like, this did not occur that this was weird to either of us until I can't remember, it was a doctor or nurse walked in. They're like, "What are you two doing?" And I'm like, I started laughing. I'm like, only us. Like, it never occurred to me to feel weirded out. Like, I'm naked in a hospital gown with my CEO, and we're like plotting out what's going to happen with the company. That was awesome for me. Not that situation, but just like, life is going to go on. Like, we're going to figure this out. And it was awesome. It was like a great life lesson too, because I think my mom teases me that one of my first sentences as a child was, "I'll do it myself." And I think I never got in the habit of asking for help. I would love to think that I've always been somebody who will give help. If you ask me, I will show up for anybody who asks. But I wasn't really good about asking for help on my own. And for the first time in my life, boy, did I need a lot of help. So I really relied on my team at work, and they were extraordinary. I mean, they couldn't have had my back more. And some of my friends and my family just like showed up in a huge, huge way, which was amazing. I mean, it is interesting to be that sick, because it's almost like being at your own funeral, right? Like, who cares about me? Who shows up? I learned a lot about who doesn't show up too. And that was all like is just great. It was a great life lesson. I'm grateful that I had cancer. Like, it was a great life lesson. I don't want to go through it again. Mind you, it sucked, but I learned a lot about myself during that time.
What do you think is the root of your ability to see the glass half full?
I believe I'm not religious at all. So I only know that we have one life that we know of, right? If there's more, fantastic, but I only know of one. I feel like it is my personal responsibility to live my absolute best life. And that's not to suggest bad things aren't going to happen or whatever, but I really believe like life is what you make of it. And I have had so many amazing things happen in my life because I've been open-minded, or I'm willing to see things that are beyond my own perspective. It goes back to the being interested in people. I love learning from different people. I think we have way more in common than we have differences. Like, what is happening in the world right now is absolutely terrifying to me. But I absolutely love learning and doing and saying yes to things. Like, I got the opportunity to work for the Queen of Sweden. That sounds so random, right? But my ex-husband's dad had this bizarre connection to her, and she ran a thing called the World Childhood Foundation, which was really helping impoverished youth across the world. And she was looking for like younger people, younger board members, kids to come help and kind of do something different with it. And I got involved. Like, what a bizarre, crazy thing. So I got to I've had dinner in the palace in Sweden. I know how to curtsy. I got to work with her, and I got to work with one of her daughters, Princess Madeline, and it was awesome. And I ultimately ended up quitting the Queen because I hate hierarchy and bullshit. And my God, I mean, if you want to see red tape, go work with royalty. Like, that was so not my scene, but it was a pretty extraordinary experience just because I said yes. So I don't know that makes me special, but that's just, I don't spend a lot of time worrying about what other people think of my choices. You know, I'm very comfortable in my own skin. I try my best to be a really good person. I really care about other human beings, but I sure don't, I'm not going to judge you on your choices. Maybe a little bit. Sometimes there's some people that I will definitely be a little judgmental about. But generally speaking, live and let live. It's your life. Don't judge me on my life. If I'm not hurting you, I'm not hurting anybody, who are you to make comments on how I choose to live my life? And because of that, I've had an amazing life, you know?
Is that also an ideal that you tried to instill in your girls, or did you not have to, or how do you feel? Were you able to pass it down?
I think so, to some extent, right? I mean, it's also, this is my way. It doesn't mean it has to be anybody else's way. And I think one of the interesting things about being a parent is, our job is to keep our kids safe, but also teach them. And I think one of the things I've learned along the way is teaching them does not mean making them do it the way you would do it. It's teaching them the skills to figure it out, how it would work best for them. And that's tough sometimes, because sometimes I'm like, what the hell are you doing? But that's how we learn, right? I mean, all the best stuff that's happened to me has come from me screwing something up. I don't want to prevent my kids from screwing up, because that's where you learn. So, yeah, I think I've done a pretty decent job. I'm sure they'll be in therapy at some point. We all for the stuff that from our parents, but generally speaking, I think they turned out pretty well.
You seem to be doing okay.
I think they're okay.
Are you proud of who you are today?
I don't think about it that way. I mean, I guess so. I don't sit around I'm proud of me.
You know what?
No, I'm proud of me. I'm so good. No, I don't think about it that way. But how about this? I'd want to know me. I think I'm a good friend. I think I am somebody who genuinely cares about other people. And I think I am in my best when I'm thinking about things that are outside of myself. right? We can all get so, it's all about me. I don't want it to be all about me. Like, I happen to be pretty decent at something from a work perspective. I am most proud of the fact that I have been able to contribute to building companies that have been remarkable places to work for people. Like, my goal was always to go in and have people say when they're old and they're talking to their grandchildren about their careers, and they say, I worked at company X and it was the career experience of my lifetime. It's where I learned a ton. I grew. I worked with amazing people. We accomplished these incredible things together. I love that I've been part of creating that narrative for people. That I'm proud of. I don't really give a crap about my titles or, I mean, money's nice. I've made some money, but like, that's great. But that's not like why I did it. Nothing makes me happier than to see people that I met in their 20s that are now, you know, in their 40s and running something. Dildog, who I were like, Dildog and Weld Pond started a company that has been incredibly successful. Really? So like, I look at these people that I've like known throughout my history, and you know them when we're all getting started and you know, everyone's just trying to figure their stuff out. Your 20s are weird. Like, 20s are rough, right? But I'm so proud of like the people that I've gotten to work with and know and be part of, you know, a little part of their stories. So yeah, good career.
Good life.
Good life.
Good life. All right, we're gonna get into my final question.
Okay.
So I ask all my guests this. So I created this platform for people to learn about themselves, about the world, about everything. Like, knowledge is so important to me. So I want to know from you, what is something that you wish more people knew? And that could have to do with the world, yourself, just in general. What's something that you wish more people knew?
If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in you. Right? I mean, I think I'm going to sound like a dinosaur right now. Like, I'm going to sound very old, but I think social media and all of that is like an amazing thing. There's a lot of like really great applications to technology. However, it makes me really sad to watch people like value themselves by how many likes some picture gets, or thinking that you have 500 friends. No, you don't. You got like 10 friends, right? Like, you got followers are not friends. And I just watch so many, especially young women, like, get so hung up on stuff that's really, in the scheme of life, pretty insignificant. And I think they value themselves based on that stuff. And it just makes me really sad. So I think one of the things I've learned along the way is like, nobody's going to bet on me. To everybody before the age of 18, when I went to college, found out I had, you know, a learning thing. Like, I was just a cute girl who was not very smart. Like, that's how I framed myself. And God, I would have had a very, very different life if that's how I chose to believe in myself, or not believe in myself. And I think being able to like, oh, you're not stupid was like step one. Oh, hey, if you go into companies like, and give it everything you've got, even if you don't know a ton, in a startup environment, for me personally, it's not for everybody, but for me, you can like I had the benefit of doing things I had no business doing at my age, because I started asking myself, why not me? Like, I'm looking at these other people. What makes them any better at this than me? Because they went to Harvard? Like, okay, they have a better pedigree. Doesn't make them harder workers, doesn't make them more insightful. I just realized what made me unique and special. And then I just kind of went with it. But I realized, if I do not believe in myself, nobody else is going to believe in me. So that's what I'd share.
That's an oldie, but such a goodie. It's such a goodie. It's so true. It's so true, because we've been saying that forever, but it's like, it really is true. And that's the reason we've been saying it forever. You have to bet on yourself if you want other people to bet on you. It has to start there.
It's really sad to me. Like, so many people don't. There's so much doubt. I just went, you're familiar with Mel Robbins?
Yes.
Yeah. So I went to go see her on Friday night. And it was really interesting. Like, I think she's fantastic. And I relate to her because I think she's very, like, just says what she thinks. And you're like that. She's very relatable that way. But the whole let them thing and like doesn't resonate with me, because I think I've always thought that. Like, I don't spend a lot of time worrying about stuff I can't control. I don't worry about Like my ex-husband took off, started a new family. Like I could be really bitter about that. Instead, I look at it, I'm like the week that my older daughter graduated from college 2 years ago, he went to her graduation and then a kindergarten play. And I just kind of looked at him. I'm like, I am so winning right now. Like, dude, I hope you're loving your life because I'm about to go, celebrate and go on a vacation and you're going to be at a kindergarten thing. So like, I don't, everybody has their own life to live. And I'm just living mine and maxing it out.
And that's what you get to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just focusing on yours.
I love my life. I feel really happy. Not to say bad things don't happen or, everything's perfect. It's definitely not. But I knowing that cancer is going to come back at some point is actually incredibly motivating because I don't sit around wasting time. I really want to max it out.
I love that. Thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Of course. This was so good.
Thank you.
Oh, you're such a good guest. You're going to come back. I used to say to my guests, oh, I should have you back at this point. No, you're going to come back and we're going to have another conversation about what you're doing.
I appreciate it.
And we're going to talk about your business soaring. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. How can people connect with you?
If I knew there was going to camera involved, I would have dried my hair.
Stop it.
This is great. I look like one of the Golden Girls. It's really awesome. I was bald 6 months ago. So
a motorcycle here.
Actually, I had the convertible.
You see?
So a brush probably should have been something with this. But what was the question? How do people get in touch with me?
Yeah. How do they connect with you?
What do you want? Email? So I don't want to give myself. I was your AOL, girl. I'm not that old. Jesus. CLUCON at peopleinnovations.com. One word. So peopleinnovations.com is the easiest way to get in touch with me. Or I'm on LinkedIn. C. Luconi. So first initial, last name at peopleinnovations.com.
Perfect. And I'll put it on the camera so people can know how to email you.
Awesome.
I get all these emails.
Thank you.
Hey, I saw you on the podcast. You're kind of hot.
Oh, well, if Brad gets listening, please, by all means, you can give him myself.
I'll send this to him directly. Don't worry, girl.
We can talk about that next time. How hard it is to get a date when you've got cancer and you're bald and you're 57. That could be a great hour of content. Oh, my Lord.
Oh my goodness. Hey, you don't have a kindergartner.
I do not.
Just throw that out there. Thank you for watching if you watched. Thank you for listening if you listened. And you can catch Through with a Splash of Tea every Wednesday and Thursday. Bye.